Alrighty, let me see. Sound is okay. Guess you can see me okay, hear me all right. Put it to the chat and let me know. It is great to be back. I hope you all have been doing super. Hope you all been doing fantastic. Haven't missed me too much, I hope. Let me see. I think everything should be working super. All right. Okay. So, yes, in today's session, back from Dubai, in today's session, back to the grind, we will be looking at gold at an all-time high, looking like it's going to continue moving higher. We'll talk about that. I was talking about yen recovering back on that uptrend. We'll look into that as well. The US elections have been heating up. We won't look into that yet, but we will keep a handle on that. And then also with the interest rate decision, it looks like on the 7th of November, we're heading towards a rate cut decision of not a 50 basis points, but 25. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. With a lot more to come and back into the grind on the daily analysis, do remember to stay tuned, make it a habit to join me again. But first, it's been a while, hasn't it? Hey Edwin, how are you doing? Hey Jimmy, good to see you again. It's been a long time. Well, it feels like it's been a super long time, but it's only been about a week. So I hope you guys have been doing okay, trading well. Um, if you're on the session, do drop a message, say hi, let me know where you're joining us from. I know that we would be having quite a number of new viewers and new members from Dubai because we've been doing a few sessions there. So if you're new to the session, do drop a message and say hi. Let me know that you're on the session. Hey, Meta B, how are you doing? Okay. Um, let me get back into the flow of this. Right, I need to get into the whole ramble. You can help me out massively by remembering to click on that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And then also, what else was it? If you have any questions, put it into the chat and let me know. Any particular pairs that you're interested in, put it into the chat and let me know as well. Okay, and if you haven't, and if you're keen to do so, TSRI trading, TSRI MACD is there for you guys. Since I'm back and I'm getting back into the hang of things, we'll do a lot more sessions for the YouTube memberships as well. So make sure you join if you haven't already. The Elite Navigators on YouTube. That's going to be something that I'm going to be focusing on a lot from now onwards. Okay, so do make sure you join that. Hey Stefan, how are you doing? Good morning. I hope you're well. All right. If you haven't already noticed, I'm kind of rambling on, trying to get back into the flow of things. Had a couple of small trades just to get back into it. I got back sometime Wednesday last week, I think. Wednesday last week. A Thursday, we could have done a stream on Thursday and Friday, but I just wanted to spend some time to look at the charts, to look at the news, to kind of get a handle on things again before we start, looking into more analysis. So I didn't enter any trades on Thursday, Friday. Well, no, I did my gold, the speculative one on gold, which is running up nicely, but not any big serious trades, right? So today did doing yen to the upside, and Aussie, a quick one to the downside as well. Shared all that with you guys on Discord. Okay, so Jimmy is asking for Euro Aussie. For sure, we can do that. No worries. US yen is bouncing back nicely. Yes, it is. And it's doing very well. And yeah, how are you guys all doing? Good, good, good. Okay. All right. Now, with all that said, let's do a quick review of what has happened. Okay. I'm gonna do that, but we'll do a really quick one. So the last time we spoke was on the 10th, if I'm not, no, actually. Oh, that's why it's been so long time. The last time we spoke was on the 3rd, and then I was away through that whole period. We did a catch up on the 13th, and now we're back on the 21st. All right, so it's been a super long time since the last time we spoke. So let's look into that. Quick review, and let's look into history. So let's do a quick one. We had non-farm on Friday on the 4th of October. We saw good employment numbers here, very good employment numbers. Slow down to 4.1 on unemployment rate for the US, so that's good news. Strong employment numbers, average hourly earnings at a 0.4. That's why we're seeing the interest rate cut decision kind of moderate down a little bit on the US, right? It's down to a 91.7% chance for a 25 basis point rate cut. No more or very, very low chance of a 50 basis point rate cut to come. Then from that, we had a couple of news release on the interest rate decision from the RBNZ on Wednesday, the 9th of October, cutting rates from a 5.25 to a 4.75%. So a 50 basis point rate cut from the RBNZ. That was quite interesting. On the RBNZ, we saw that was on that time, right? So as they cut, zoom in a bit, as they cut rates, we saw the Kiwi dollar push down from 6140 down to 6060, and since it's dropped, it's pretty much held that level. Okay, then I'm trying to do this as quickly but yet give it an info, right? FOMC meeting minutes. I'm not going to go into that yet because we're coming into the new 7th of November, the new rates decision. Then we had US CPI, which did slow down from a 2.5 to 2.4%, not as much as expected. That was on the 10th of October. And if you look at the 10th of October, right there, where was it? Right about that point, right? We saw a bit of a blip up and sat down, and then it just continued on the trend to the upside. So although there was a slowdown, it didn't do too much, not as much as expected, but it didn't do too much to the dollar, continued on the upward trend. Then we had a couple of news for the Canadian, and the PPI wasn't too bothered about that. I did look at some trades while I was away, but I did H4 longer term trades because I would enter a trade and let it run while I went off and did my other stuff. Then through to this last week, where we had CPI numbers for the Canadian CPI year on year at 2.4%, but monthly down to a minus 0.4%. CPI quarter on quarter for the Kiwi at a 0.6%, slightly higher than previous, a bit lower than expected. So that was good news. UK CPI on Wednesday, that came out at a 1.7, expected 1.9. So that was a good slowdown. We did see the pound dollar push down a little bit, but most importantly, what we were looking at from last week on Thursday was the interest rate decision from the Euro, from the ECB, taking rates down from 3.65 to a 3.4%. Right, that continued to push the Euro to the downside. Not so used to talking so much, so my voice is going again. Retail sales number for the US 0.1 to 0.4. And then Friday, not too much. UK retail sales number, we did see some volatility on the pound. And then we're here on Monday. Okay? Looking forward to this week. The plan for this week today is going to be a little bit slow, but moving forward to this week, here are the key news items to pay attention to. We have on Wednesday, interest rate decision to come from the BOC, looking to take rates down from 4.25 to 3.75%. We'll look into that on Wednesday as the rate decision comes closer. Press conference as well. And then after that, we have a whole bunch of PMI numbers to come from the Eurozone and from the UK and from the US as well, right? Manufacturing and services PMI to come from the Euro, the UK, and the US. And then we'll end off with core retail sales and retail sales number from the Canadians. So a good way to for me especially, to ease back into the markets. No crazy news, but we do have a couple of news to pay attention to for this week, and then it's going to get really interesting after this week. So if you're on the session, remember, stay tuned. We're back into the grind with these live streams, and it's great to be back. Now catching up with the chat. Yes, so I've got Euro, Aussie. Was it there? I've got Euro, Aussie. I've got Pound, Yen, and Aussie Yen for sure. Edwin and Meta, we can do that. Good morning, Diana. How are you doing? It was great to catch up with Diana in Dubai. I finished the chocolates, so totally destroyed my diet when I was in Dubai. I finished the chocolates within like 5-10 minutes. All right, so thank you for that. Hey, in your case, how are you doing? Now, hey, Richard, good to see you. Good to be back live again as well. Some swing trades last week were slow. It was quite interesting. It was slow, but quite good trading as well for last week. Now, with all that said, do remember to drop a message and say hi if you're on the session. And let's get into the currency pairs. Okay, now looking at the dollar index. So the last time we spoke was on the 3rd of October. I'll update that. Let's see. Okay. Send the pictures. Yes, I will send it. Do you mind, Diana? Do you mind if I posted the pictures in Discord? I'll do that. I think I did that with Lily as well, so I'll do that for you for catch up. All right. Okay. Now, dollar index. What has happened? It's been on that big upward push. All right. So the last time we spoke was right there. It was below 102 the last time we spoke. And now it's at 103.60. So what you should have done, or what you would have done for that, is fib level from the bottom all the way to the top, and you'll see 23.6 at that 103 level. You'll see the 50% retracement level at the 102 level. So those are the nice round numbers that is reacted to. And then when you zoom in from this move, I'm catching this point here, this point here, and this point here, right? And then that's why I have that little golden dotted line at about 103.40, just to have a little bit of a point of relevance there. So now with that, today being the 21st, we're coming towards the end of the year. Where has the year gone? 21st of October, we've seen the dollar push up, bounce off close to this 103.40, pushing back up without any major news. Again, without any major news for today and actually for the next couple of days, right? Up until that, no major US news. What I would be looking for on the dollar, of course, would be for it to continue on its trend to the upside. Now, if you look at this, we have that trend line there. You could even be looking at that trend line. It wouldn't make sense to have that. So I'll keep that one there. Okay, so main thing for me now on the dollar index would be that it needs to stay above, looking for continued uptrend, needs to stay above 103.40, which is the also that trend line, right? Could trade up to 103.90. Beyond that, we have 104.80 there, but I think that we also have another level here at about 104.50. Wait, zoom in a little bit. That point, I like that one a bit more. 104.20. Okay. So coming back to the current level, basically what we're looking for is continue uptrend, stay above 104.30 to push up. So could look like that way, or actually a little bit higher there, like that. All right. Needs to stay above 104.30 to trade, to continue uptrend to 103.90. Beyond that, 104.20. There we go. 17 days held a swing trade. Okay. What pair was that? Aussie, was it Aussie yen? Yeah, Aussie yen. Okay, now with that makes sense. Okay, with that, then we'll look at the Kiwi dollar. All right, so we're looking at further dollar strength to push up on the dollar index. If the dollar index does continue to push up, then we're likely, or we should be seeing the Kiwi dollar push down. The main thing here, as I'm zooming right out, you see that this 61.8 level, I put that right there, is where we had that support level now turned slightly resistance, and that 61.8 level holding as a little bit of a support, right? So that is, if I take that down to this point, okay, so I'll change this and put that as my resistance, and that's my 61.8 level. The main thing that we're looking for here on the Kiwi dollar is that it breaks this previous low, it breaks below that 61.8 and push to the downside with that dollar strength. So I have a bit of a level here, and then it could break further. So what we're looking for at this point and might take a little bit longer, is that on the Kiwi, break below 6040, stop loss will be about a 25 to a 30 pips. Take profit could go down to a 60 towards that level that we saw on the 9th of August, 9th and 16th of August. Okay, so that's what I'll be looking for on the Kiwi dollar. It's going to test around this point for a while. It's going to test, bounce around because it's at 61.8 from the long term, but looking for it to break down. 6040, 630 to 60 to the downside. Just give me a moment. I'm going to delete all of that just because that's super old anyway. Take all of that away. Okay. So we're going to sell at 0.6040, stop loss 30, take profit 40, take profit 60 to the downside on the Kiwi dollar. All right, bounce around there, look for it to break that previous low, 6040, 30 to 60 to the downside. Straightforward. Then onto the Aussie dollar. Remember, those of you on Discord, on the Discord server, I shared this. I think as the Aussie dollar was right at about that point or that point, can't remember, probably breaking that 6-7 level. That we have the TSR MACD crossing down. So long term, and Robbie sent me a question. I don't know whether Robbie's on the session, but Robbie sent me a question. I said, trend is down. Right, Aussie trend, long-term trend to the downside. It's bounced up. It's rejecting that 23.6 level down. So, and especially those of you who joined me in Dubai as well, we're talking about this, right? So it's a downward move, downtrend on the Aussie. Then we have it also going up, testing and pushing down. So 2 downs already. Then we have the TSRI MACD crossing down, right? So we've got 3 things pointing to the downside, and because of that, I was looking at it to push lower. Now, that was a couple of hours ago, right, or an hour ago. If you got into that, you have a quick scalp to the downside. That's what I did. Out already. As usual, I like to stay flat during our live session. Now, at this point, if you look at this Bollinger, why is it bouncing back? Because it came right off the Bollinger. You got that dot there, and it's coming right back in. Again, elite navigators are just probably one more day away from finalizing this Bollinger Band indicator. You guys will get that as well. Okay, so you got the TSRI MACD already. The Bollinger Band indicator will be out to you guys very soon. Now, it was outside the Bollinger Band, so it's coming back in. We look for it to come back in, complete its retrace before pushing back down. Now, at this point, you're looking at this. I would say that if you haven't got into the trade already, it's a little bit too late. It's right in the middle. You would have a, even if it bounces back and you got in there, your stop loss will be a 30, your take profit about 50. I wouldn't be looking for that, okay? I would say that you give it a little bit more time if you haven't got into that. Now take that, updating this line, I would say this point, we'll keep it as a dotted. And we'll look for this move down on the Aussie dollar. Look for it to break 6660 and also that 50% level. Then you're looking at 6635 Stop loss, you keep it tight at about 20. Your take profit, you can go your first one at 60 pips to the downside there. All right, so I see that the Kiwi might be something that's going to happen a lot faster, a lot sooner. Then once you're out of the Kiwi, you can look into the Aussie dollar to continue on that downward trend with big momentum to the downside. So 6635, stop loss 20, take profit 60 to the downside. Sell at 0.6635, stop loss 20, take profit 60 to the downside. All good so far. Put into the chat, let me know if there's any questions. Then with that, we'll look at the pound dollar. Right, pound, they're all very similar patterns right now. It's all had a big push down, they had a small retrace, now it looks like it's going to continue lower. Pound dollar, right, we saw that big push to the downside. Again, that is the whole support area here, right? Also formed by that 61.8 level. So what I would be looking for at this point is if it breaks below this whole support level, you can move this down to right there. Right? If it breaks below this whole support level, then we've got big downside potential. Is it going to drop all the way? It could. There's nothing holding it back, but we're looking at the dollar for more upsides. I think we could see that push down. But it's a bit too big. I'm thinking somewhere around there would be reasonable as one point of reference. I'm looking at that first. Okay, so if you're looking back at it now, it dropped and it's sitting in that consolidation, right? It's been in that consolidation last week, all the way 2 weeks ago, all the way to now. Look for it to break that support. Looking for it to go 1.2950. Stop loss, you'll be looking at about 30. Your take profit could be about 130 to the downside. But it does need to break that support level first, and we need to see that dollar strength take off to the upside. Okay? So pound dollar will be 1.2950, 30 to 130. 1.2950, stop loss 30, take profit 130 to the downside. Ooh. So, all right. The thing here is that, remember, as much as we're talking about the Aussie, the Kiwi, this needs to break that previous low. The Aussie needs to break that previous low and that 50% level. The pound dollar needs to break that 61.8 and that support area to the downside. Even if we took this a little bit more narrow, needs to break that whole level first. Again, when it comes to breaking a support level, it's not something that's going to happen easily. It could come down to that support and bounce back up. It could, sit there and then consolidate before breaking lower. Don't rush into the trade. Let it break, see it break, then you want to get into the trade. All right. So for now, I wouldn't be rushing into anything. With that, then we look at the euro dollar. All right. Euro dollar was one of the pairs that I got into a long time ago, trading it all the way down. So just holding that trade to the downside. Very similar to gold, where I've been dragging the stop loss higher on gold because it's been running up. Euro dollar, I've been dragging my stop loss lower because it's been dropping and dropping. I've been selling it down. Now, as it pushed down, 23 is there. Take that away. That's not a support. That's a resistance level now. Okay. So same thing, trend line, done. Take that away. 23.6 holds. We need that to hold. We have the next support level down here and a bit of a level down here. Okay, so now back to it. Where are we? What needs to happen on Euro? It needs to come down, right? Continue with that downward trend. It needs to stay below 1.09 firstly to push down. Even if it breaks that previous low at 1.0820, wouldn't rush into it. I would say that that low and this point where it bounced off quite strongly, we want to see, well, when that happened, we're going to see a reaction here at this same point, right? At 1.08 and 1.0780. Looking for reaction there. It could come down and bounce back up, or it will come down to this point and then break to the downside. At this point, I feel like it's more likely to break to the downside, but I think that it's something that you want to wait and see what happens at this support level. Okay, so we're looking at the euro, and why I'm saying that is also because I don't want you to be thinking, oh, I'll just sell everything right across the board. There are some levels that you have to wait and see what happens. We'll look for reaction at 1.08 to 1.0780 support level. Okay, that's what we'll do as it pushes down to that support. We're looking for either a bounce or a break, but we're going to look at this support level here. All right. All good, fantastic. Now with that, then we look at the yen. Right, yen doing very well. Remember again, just shared that on Discord as it was pushing up. So the thought process, big uptrend on the yen. So it's a big up arrow that way. Right, then we have it coming down, bouncing off 149 to push possibly all the way back up. And then we had the TSRA MACD crossing up as well. So like I'm trying to make it a bit of a theme. I go 3 ups could equal a buy to the upside on the US yen. So that was that was indicated, I don't like to use the word signaled, but that was indicated earlier on the Discord channel. Now at this point, again, if you didn't get into that, it's a little bit late right now because you have that high there at 150 almost 150.40. If you entered there, stop loss would be terrible. Take profit, you want to be at that point. So what I'll be looking for is if it breaks above this high at 150.40, then you'll be looking at this next point here and then possibly further up. Okay. So that's what you'll be looking for. You could take a risk and buy it up at this point, fair, but I would say that if you're not already in a trade, You should have been, because that's what we talked about on Discord. You'll be looking at 150.45, 150.50. Stop loss will be about 30 pips. Take profit, you'll be looking at 120 to the 130 to the ups on 25. 120 to the upside with a possible hesitation at 150.90, okay, or 151. Once it comes up to this point, then you move your stop loss to break even and let it run. Okay, so 150.50. Buy at 150.50. Stop loss 30. Take profit 120. We got a possible hesitation at 151. There we go. 151, 150, 150.90 to 151. All right. All good, all good. Now with that, then we look at the Euro Yen, right, sitting right across. So it's found, let's see what level it found. Push up, it's found about that 23.6. Right, that's a high point. It's found at 23.6 area. And you see that they're struggling. The Euro Yen is struggling because the Euro dollar is pushing down, but yet Yen is climbing up. So Euro dollar pushing down, trying to drag the Euro Yen down. Yen, US Yen pushing up, trying to pull the Euro Yen up. So it's sitting along that point, this bottom level here. So what you're looking for if you want to buy this up. All right, find that as a support, look for it to break above 162.90 or 162.90. Then you'll be looking at about, I would say 163. Let it break above that, close above that whole point. 30 pip stop. You'll be looking at a 60 pip take to the upside, that previous high. You could even go a bit higher towards 80 pips, but 60 pips would be fair. All right, so that's Euro Yen. Look for it to break above this whole points here. Oops, can't draw. To the upside, break up 163, 30 to 60 towards that levels that we're looking at up there. Straightforward. I remember I've got Euro Aussie, Pound Yen, Aussie, no, was it Pound Yen? No. Aussie Yen, Pound Yen. Yeah, I got my Pound Yen. So we'll do Aussie Yen as well later, and Euro Aussie. Pound Yen. What's happened to Pound Yen? Not as consolidative as the Euro. It's been pushing up. It's very close to that resistance. We have 50% there. This level is fair at this point. Now, remember again, a pound dollar looking like could push down towards this support. US yen pushing right up, that's running very nicely. Pound yen pushing right up. You want to look for a reaction at 196. Right? I wouldn't do anything at this point, although we do think that it could trade up. It could get up to this point, but you want to see a reaction at 196. It's been very strong, right? On the 27th of September, we saw it test and reject. On the 18th of October, we saw it test and reject. So on pound yen, you want to see it test 196 and see what happens at that point. It could test and reject, or it could break through If it does break through, then the next interim level will be about 197.54 and then 199, but nothing yet at this point. So wait, look to see what's going to happen on pound yen at 196. Okay, then with that, we look at the US Swiss franc. I'm coming very close to my new favorite, gold. Then on US Swiss franc, what we're looking at is dollar strength pushing it up, dragging the US Swiss franc to the upside. If you look at this, dragging right up, holding, looking right across. That was where we were. So you're looking for it to test and break. It looks like it might come back down a little bit. Let me see. 23 is right there, which makes a lot of sense, right? All that levels there. Test, it should push up. It could come back down a little bit, but we're looking for it to push back up. Ultimately, what you want to see the US Swiss franc do is break above 8670 to trade up. Right, you've seen that all the way down, retrace right back up, set right across, push back up, break above 8670, then you'll be looking at 8680. I don't really like it. And then again, maybe it's because it's the US Swiss franc. So looking at 8680, take profit will be about a 70 pip move to the upside. 8680. Stop loss would be about 35. What I actually think could happen here, no, it's not my favorite. It's far from being my favorite. Maybe soon, we'll see. What I actually think could happen here is that it could actually break through this way, test, and then do that. I'm thinking of something like that, right? The dollar is pushing up. Oh, it's trying to push up, so I want to see that push up. But based on what I'm seeing right now, it looks like it could retrace, test this level, or maybe a bit more, then continue back up again. All right, so that's what I'll be looking for on the US Swiss franc, 8680, 35 to 70. Buy 0.8680, stop loss 35, take profit 70 to the upside. Then onto the US CAD. Remember again that this week we have the CAD, the BOC with their interest rate decision. This is on Wednesday night at 9:45 p.m. So looking like an interest rate cut to come from the BOC. Yeah, US yen is the long-term favorite. That's my long-term favorite. Remember now, so we look at what happened on the 4th of September, a couple of months ago, or a month ago. They went from 4.5 to 4.25, a 25 basis point rate cut. All right, and on the 4th of September, where was it? There. On the 4th of September, when it cut by 25 basis points, we saw the US CAD push down from 1.3550 down to 1.350. So about 50 pip move to the downside. And then after that, I think dollar strength pushed it back up, back up again. Right, so that was a bit odd, right? Because if the cut rates, you're expecting the Canadian dollar to weaken. If the Canadian dollar does weaken, you should see it push up. So when you see it push back down, that's Canadian strength or dollar weakness. You look at the 4th of September here. Where is it? 4th of September right there. So that's the dollar weakness that dragged it down, leading to that pulling down. Not so much because of the interest rate decision from the BOC. Right? Yeah, I got it right. So now coming back to the current time, you want to be very careful on the US CAD. I know interest rate decision is still a little bit away, a couple of days away. At this point, I would say that I'm more keen to stay out of the CAD for now and look for it to push right up towards that resistance at about 1.39. Seen a big reaction right across, big reaction at 1.39, and I'll show you in H4. 1.39, big reaction, 1.39, big reaction, 1.39, big reaction. Right? So US CAD, I wouldn't do anything yet at this point. I would say that we want to see it push up towards that 1.39 area and look for reaction there. So could test that, do that, and then hopefully see a big push back down. Okay, so nothing yet on the US CAD. On the loonie. Could climb higher, looking for reaction at 1.39 or around 1.39. Alrighty. Now, we'll look at gold. Right, so again, yes, MetaB is right. US yen, big favorite there. We talked about it on Discord. It's pushing right up. So hope you guys got onto that as I posted that on Discord. If not, then let's look at gold. Well, not if not, but let's look at gold. It reached an new all-time high at 2733, right? 2732 actually. Then as it pushed right up, it got a bit fearful and it set right across. Right, so it's pushed up, not really outside Bollinger, but it's sitting right across. I've been in it since, let's see, I've had a couple, but I've been in it since 2677. So 2677 was about there. I think as it was trying to push up, I was getting in at about 2678. I think as it was closing up, I was getting into that point there, right? And then now stop losses has been dragging up all the way, looking for it to continue higher. So that was my trade on gold. Still holding, still dragging it up. Now the new favorite is gold. Little bit, kind of. All right. At this point, the thing about gold is it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Dollar strength should send gold down, but dollar strength right now is still seeing gold climb. The biggest reason I can think of is the uncertainty, the conflict that's happening right around the world that could escalate even further. That's why we're seeing gold strengthen as a move towards reserve. That's a big reason. But like I think BL was saying in Discord, just watch out when the music ends. You've got, you know, a seat to jump onto, because you look at it on a daily time frame, it's on a big upward move, right? So not saying it's a good time to sell, but it's something that we have to keep in mind when it could reverse. But I think that for now, as it dips, it's a buying into quick scalps into value, right? Quick scalps into value. How long have I been holding that? I think back here. So that was on the 17th, last week. I came back and I was just like, oh, it looks like it's going to push up. It's trying to break. Can I get into that? So got into that on, I think on the 17th at about 7, 8, that point there. Yeah, around there. Or maybe even before. No, 17th is about right. Was it 17th? Yeah, 17th. So on to gold now. What you should be looking for. Remember, you haven't watched that video. I'm projecting 3,000. I'm thinking that it'll get to 2007. It could retrace. So it did 2007. It retraced. And then 2008 it could retrace or consolidate. But I'm thinking 3,000. Look, I got a big red line there at 3,000. Don't think I'll get there in a hurry. I would love for it to get there in a hurry, but I don't think so yet. Now the thing is, look for it to retrace and then push up. Wouldn't be looking to sell it at any point. All right, so could trade down to 20, could retrace down to 27.20. This is going to be really hard. This is going to be hard because it's not something that you want to look at in the, it's not easy to look at in the medium term, right? Either you go long term and just hold it up, or you scalp it up. Then when you scalp it up, it becomes a long-term trade to the right direction. Okay, so what we'll be looking for is that it needs to stay above 27.15. Right. No. Okay, we have it there. Okay, it needs to stay above 2,700. It needs to stay above that 23.6 level, because I think that if it sits there and then it retraces back, it breaks that support level, what we'll be looking for, what we could see is it comes down to this point and it breaks lower, then you look for it to push back up again, right? Or it sits right there and then it pushes right back up to 27.50. Or it comes right back down and test and push right back up to 27.50 again. So ultimately, what we're looking for is either you do quick scalps to the upside, or you look for that retrace back down to push back up towards 27.50. Okay, so those are the scenarios that we're looking for on gold. Look for retracement to complete, then continue uptrend to 27.50. Needs to stay above 2,700. There we go. Alrighty. Now, with all that said, we look at the Euro Aussie. We look at silver after that as well. Euro Aussie, looked at it before, didn't break lower, so we take that away. Held 50. We'll keep those. Trend line broken, take that away. Trend line broken, take that away. Okay, we don't need all that levels. Now at this point, as it sits there, I wouldn't actually be too keen on this. It's right in the middle. I have my 50 there. Right, so we're looking at Aussie dollar possibly pushing to the downside. So as Aussie dollar pushes down and the euro dollar now looking at trying to push down as well, then on the Euro Aussie, we should be seeing this push lower. Wouldn't do anything unless it breaks below 161.40 down towards the support level down here, which makes sense. Okay. So nothing yet on the Euro Aussie unless it breaks below 161.30. Stop loss will be tight, 20 pips. Take profit will be down to about 80 pips to the downside. So wait, break that low down towards support level. Okay. Hope that kind of aligns with what you are thinking there, Jimmy. Let me know. Then on to Aussie Yen. We don't need that. Take that away. Trend line, yeah, that's done. Take that away. Okay, now with that being the relevant level, yen pushing up. That point, I'll hold at that point. Yes, yen, US yen pushing up, Aussie dollar could weaken, so that could push up. It's gonna be in that range. It's gonna stay within this range. I think it would struggle to break out of that. Most likely, I think that that's going to keep ranging that way for the medium term. Right? So I wouldn't be super, I think that's a lot more interesting for that as it pushes up, and that as it pushes up compared to the Aussie yen, I think it's going to stay within that range. Fantastic. I'm super happy. Realigned, Jimmy. Right. So Meta B, let me know what you think about Aussie yen, if it aligns. And then Edwin, we did pound yen already. And yes, everyone, do remember to smash that like, thumbs up button. A lot of viewers, not many clickers. Get clicking. Okay, then on to silver. Whoa. Look at that. Take all that away. Pushing right up. Very similar to gold, where it's forming new all-time highs. I would say that if it consolidates at nice round number here at 34, just below 34 or around 34, what you want to see is this, right? I want to see this come down and then cross back up. Draw that properly. So that one comes down, that one goes back up and crosses. and that one goes like that. Then you consolidate here and push up. You'll be looking for it to break 34. Be very careful, all-time high. So you got to be very careful as you trade it up. Immediate next level round number at 35. You scalp it up or get into a trade and look for it to pop right up towards that 35 level. It's happening like gold. It's going to be tricky. It's got that big move and then consolidate and then a big move again, but not something that I trade. So you just never know when the music is going to end and it's going to come crashing right back down. I think it's going to follow very similar to gold. So yes, there is buying opportunities there, especially if you're familiar with the price action on silver. Okay, so it is great to be back on the live streams. If you have enjoyed the session, click that like and subscribe button. If you haven't already, the link for my mailing list is there. Do make sure you join. And with all that said, thank you, Ted. Good to see you. I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care now. Bye-bye.